Good evening.
Right, so glad to have you all here with us. You guys were honored today for your achievement at the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo. First track medal for TNT. After how many years now has it been?
It's almost 50 years.
And after 50 years, how is it feeling still of winning that medal?
I guess you don't know the importance of winning an Olympic medal until situations like this. When you're actually going through the stuff, you just want to do your best.
I mean, honored today. How special is that to you guys?
I think it's very special in a way that the Trinidad and Tobago government and the Trinidad and Tobago Athletic Association and the Trinidad Olympic Association has taken trying to recognize us and to keep the youngsters up to date, because I would say probably 70 or 80% of the people in Trinidad and Tobago don't know who Ken Bernard is, or Edwin Skinner, or Edwin Roberts, or Wendell Motley. And I think it's going to be passing, because some of them right now don't know who is Hazley Crawford. Even though there's a Hazley Crawford Stadium, they might know of Hazley Crawford, but as in person, just like us, they really don't know who we are. And it's a good thing that they're trying to revamp and to acknowledge us and to let the youngsters know who we are, and that we were the founders, or you must say the pioneers of Trinidad and Tobago.
Alright, take us back to the day of the race. I'm sure it's still fresh in your mind. First leg, second leg, third leg.
Well, we let the first leg talk.
First, I have to say, this day is going to be another memorable day in my life. In that, it's always nice when we get together. We have been friends even before we took part in those games, and we have been very good friends. And I think part of the reason why we were so successful is because we were not only a team, but we were friends. And I think that went a long way. And I know we talk about race ever so often when we meet. And,
how you all decide who to run what leg? Was it a debate?
It more or less picked itself. I think it more or less picked itself, because I think what was interestingly, all four of us used to run ankle leg for university. But I think based on what we call performances and whatnot, I was running pretty well at that time. I was peaking at that time, and I had gotten to the finals. So I said that maybe let's, and in fact I think I had made I promised them that I would bring in a battle of 5 meters ahead so we can win the tournament.
I think that's no objections to running there.
Well, he did not really they had no intention, but we get as a group together, okay? We were like an umbrella, okay? And we discussed who should run first, who should run second, and who should run third and fourth. And we came up to that, but it's not to say that Ken say he wanted to run ankle leg or third leg. Ken said, look, hey, we know Ken can do a good job on the third leg. We know Edwin can do a good leg on first. We know myself would go on third, and Wendell Motley will think. So we sort of worked that such a way that for anchoring the relay, that the man that we wanted to anchor had the speed, the agility, and the mind.
And we saw that as the team that we were wonderful. That is the strategy we had in place, that we will get, we will always be in front when we go. So it just did not happen like that. But at the end of the day, we were very appreciated. At the end of the day, I think for a moment when we didn't win the gold, I think we were all a bit disappointed. But then we say, hey, we won a medal at the Olympics, and that feeling has never gone away since.
Yeah, I think the point that Skinner raised, the fact that we were close even prior to competing at the Olympics, and we were friends on and off, we kept in touch and so on. So, the Olympics was an extension of that friendship, and that interdependency that really requires. And with respect to to the order. You know, I truly don't really remember. I think it just kind of fell into place. You know, we talked about it prior to, and we were all, you know, fairly knowledgeable in relay running and that kind of stuff. So it just happened.
One thing I must say is that that day at the relay, when Skinner led off, and Skinner was up there running to his best ability in doing that, and then he gave Kent the baton, and when he gave Kent the baton, and Kent was going ahead, and then they gave me the baton, and I went ahead, we all three were at the finish line. And it was very amazing that we see, well, after a while we didn't see gold, but we saw silver. And we were so excited about getting a silver. And then our colleague Wendell get really nipped at the tape, and they say, oh, darn it, you know, we missed the silver.
They were really mad at him.
But I think what was significant, I think the handover in the third leg, which in fact that was the most exciting leg between Ed Roberts and Eunice Williams, because they ran neck to neck for the whole race, and it was at the it was when Edwin was about to hand over to Wendell. Eunice Williams fell on the ground, and Wendell lost had to run around him. And that was a very critical point in the race, because Wendell lost a lot of yardage running around Eunice Williams. And I think at that time Jamaica had just nipped in there, but before 50 meters Wendell had taken over, and that was George Cole, and he went after Henry Carr. And he had collared Henry Carr for a long while, and then he said go, and then and what was interesting after the race, I don't know if you all remember this, Ken, the coach of the US team was also Wendell's coach here, and he said he said what happens because Henry Carr was rested, because Henry Carr ran 200 meters, but he did not run all those rounds in the 400 meters, and he said that was the edge that we probably had.
Another thing too is that we looked so awesome in the prelims and semifinals that they felt that they had to do something, because we won our semifinal, I mean, like going away, and in fact, I mean, we entered the final, you know, one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the gold medal.
I can tell a little quick story. When we were going to run the final, like Eunice Williams came up to me and said, listen, we got to beat Great Britain, because one of the all is only the US. Right. And Great Britain, which is Adrian Metcalf, came and said, listen, we are all in the Commonwealth, so we got to beat the US. And I said, listen, I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to beat you. And that was the end of the conversation. But that was the respect that they had for us.
Yeah. And another thing that was said, I guess, during that time was that even if we won, you know, U.S. was going to come first and second, because we were all in, you know, we all in,
and that is how and Metcalf said we all in the Commonwealth.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Robert, you were in the 200 final as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was in the 200 meters final.
You won bronze, or was that the next game?
I went bronze medal. I was in the 8th lane, and Henry Carr was inside with Paul Drayton and Richard Stebbins. And when I came off the curve, I saw Henry Carr up there and Paul Drayton, and I started to drive in, and it was just, it just slipped me a little bit at the tape, and I said, gee well, you know, but I got third, and like I said, that was the first medal Trinidad got.
So we had the bronze medals in the 200, the silver in the 400, and a finalist.
Yeah.
How did that do for your confidence?
Well, I guess
you all had the bronze in the 2, the silver in the 4, and you being a finalist.
No, we had 2 years.
Yes, somewhat clear on you. How what did that do in terms of confidence?
I guess
that's why, as I said, we were talking about winning the gold medal in the 4x4. We weren't talking about silver, we were talking about winning the gold medal in the 4x4. Really?
I think all 4 of us, and in track and field, you have to have the confidence. You don't don't go inside a race thinking that you're going to come second or third or whatever it is. Your objective is to beat the opponent and to get first. And that was our objective. We're going out there and do the best of our ability, run the best of our time, and regardless of friend or friendship, the U.S., we had a lot of U.S. friends because we went to school in the U.S. We had a lot of British friends, but we say, look, when you get to the line, you got a friendship. Dog eat dog, and it's survival of the fittest, and that's the way we run.
So one thing I want to ask, 2 years later, the Commonwealth Games in Jamaica, the team, I don't know if you or this is the same team, won the gold. How many of you won that team and also
Okay,
broke the world record in the
that's another story there, because they were going to replicate that same team. In fact, we were all there. And when Skinner came down third, so we had Alton Khan.
But he didn't have much to do with it. I mean, he was the coach. He was the coach, but we didn't have.
We decided who was going to replace Skinner.
Yeah, and that's how we came.
And that's how Yearwood came in. But that particular, I don't know if you all remember, but you know, we thought, I personally thought that we could break the world record. We had run 3 or 4 late in
California,
without money. So, and at the time, the world record was 304 flat. I said, hey, from then on, I mean, I remember sitting down and calculating, you know, the possible legs and all this stuff. So that wasn't a surprise. I don't mean to sound too arrogant, but you know, we knew we had that.
But the reason also, this man here was very honest. He came out and said, Edwin came out and said he was hurt because he could have gone and run. So he said, look, I don't want to take the chance of the team jeopardizing the team. So he said, look, I'm going to pull out. And to someone to come out and have that guts to say, look, I can't run because I have. I mean, his injury wasn't bad, but he figured that while he was running, it might have got worse. So he decided not to run. And then we decided, was Ken, Skinner, myself, Wendell, and we all get together and decided, well, we had another person in mind, which was Benedict Cayenne. But then we say, well, okay, Benedict and Lennox. Yeah. So we decided to go with Lennox, and we made a decision. And we actually, at one time, I said I will run lead-off lane when we put that. And then they said, no, we don't want you to run. Let Lennox, and we talked to him. Bring the stick in,
yes,
and that's
bring it in contention. That was his job. He didn't have to lead.
Yeah.
You know, he just bring the stick in touch with the pack.
And what is very interesting is how important reserves are, because I was warming up with the team. I was warming up, and because it had gone that far that we would make that decision there and then. And then in warming up, I was feeling good, but it was still at risk, and I said I could not, because we knew, as Ken quite right, he said we knew we had a chance, but we were running the race anyway.
All right, let's fast forward. 2012 London, 4x4 team, we had to wait nearly 50 years, got a medal. We had the 4x4 team of 1992. Talk about the progress, how the 4x4 for our country. They came along to 2012 run national record.
Okay, I'll let him talk about his day, because we were there, but he was. I was there for the race, but so.
But what I can say is that it is a passion of all of us, that we would like to see that, you know, what we had said there follow up. I think what has happened afterwards, we got into a lot of finals in the 4x4, but I think up to 1972. Saber says, but we won close. Yeah, 72, but we never won. We never won a medal. But I do think we had the talent. And interestingly, when 2012 came, I saw we had the talent, and I consider myself extremely fortunate to be part of, I was part of the team when we won, and I saw an excellent chance for us to win another medal. In fact, I met one of the British runners and I told him we came back to get our revenge after 45 years. In fact, that is the joke I made. And I think what was also encouraging, Kent and Edwin, they paid their way up to the games, London Games, but they visited the village that day and they got a chance to meet the 4x4 team, had a chance to talk to all of them, talk about their experiences and whatnot. And interestingly, that 4x4 team, they were also very together. I saw them putting together, dining together. So I saw they had that togetherness, they had that spirit that we had there. So it was very exciting. And the race by now almost the same thing where the British were on our heels again. And I was saying, oh no, not again, not again. And then the Lendo held out. That was a very happy moment. And they didn't get a chance to see it. So it was an exciting time, although we waited very long.
Okay, Mrs. Skinner, those of us here in the TNT know of your involvement in track and field still. Tell us about the other guys. But
I would like to talk about this. They have been involved in track and field ever since.
But I said we know of yours.
But I will tell them about what Ed Roberts has been doing for Trinidad and Tobago since. Besides, El Dorado won the one championship of America at Penn.
The Darrell Brown, that era.
For the whole team, management team, and all the teams stayed by Edwin Roberts. And no one knew that. And ever since a lot of the teams that have gone to Penn Relays, it's Edwin Roberts who initiated all the teams visiting Penn Relays and whatnot. So that is what he's been doing. He has kids that were going track scholarships. It's true. Well, I can say they can talk about what they're doing afterwards, but I can tell you, Ken Bernard, who was coach at the University of Michigan, a number of kids that have gone through Trinidad and Tobago have been to the University of Michigan. So they have been doing their part for track and field, although abroad ever since then. And they have continued to do so. I am proud to say that we have had a kid at Robertson Princeton University is looking for a good kid. Edwin, do you have any? And I said, yes, I have one. Sure enough, the parents can believe that Princeton sent a ticket for him to visit Princeton to see if he likes it.
And University of Penn.
And University of Penn. So Edwin has been responsible, and well, Ken indirectly because he coached at Michigan. Edwin did coach at Temple and whatnot. But if you want, what I would like to say is quietly, these two gentlemen have done a lot and continue to do a lot for Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, Edwin mentioned my duty. I mean, it's something is a passion that I have, track and field, being a track man. And I wanted to see in Grenada. I'm the one that took Grenada up to the Penn Relays. I was the Grenada team. And what I'm trying to do now, I am part of the USA Track and Field Association. I'm a delegate. I'm also a master's official and coach. I just signed up for the coach, and they want I may be working with some of the U.S. athletes on trips, going on trips.
Masters or?
No, this is international that I may be doing. My name is already in. So I figure I didn't get a chance in Trinidad, and there's no chance. So I better go somewhere else where I haven't done. And Tobago. But coming back to Tobago, Trinidad has always had athletes coming to the pens, okay, from QRC, St. Mary's, Fatima, and the whole El Dorado and so on. But one thing that they haven't had is a team from Tobago. And I have spoken to some people from Tobago, and next year I want to make sure that Tobago has 2 high school or even 1 and give the incentive to come to the Penn Relays. And that's my objective.
All right. All right.
If they want to say anything else, that's
okay.
Well, I guess to piggyback on what Skinner said, with regards to what I did in track and field since. He said I of course coached at Michigan at my alma mater for 20 years. I've always had kids from Trinidad on the team. I recruited Trinidadians and Jamaicans for that matter. And I'm still coaching actually, not at university, but I have gone to the high school in that I guess to diversify my experience. I'm now coaching high school girls.
I just want to ask you, where you see 400 meter running and 4x4 at Trinidad and Tobago, what direction you see we are going or where we are now?
I think the direction the Trinidad 4x4 team
And Tobago.
the Tobago team, Trinidad and Tobago team. I think the 4x4, 4x1, even with the girls also, the girls team 4x1 and 4x4. I think they're heading in the right direction. And if Trinidad Olympic Association and Track Association and the clubs can keep it going like they are going, I think for 2016 they should do a very good job. That's my opinion.
Yeah, we have a special group of kids. They're all young, they're all big and strong, and I understand that they're all committed and have a passion for it. And if the associations do their part in trying to keep the group together, no telling what they can do.
All right. How often you all meet?
I see Roberts more often than I see Skinner. I'm here every carnival. I see and stay by Skinner.
You understand you have a passion for pan too?
Yes,
I do. I'm a pan fanatic. I used to play pan.
Okay.
I guess one of the interesting things is that when I speak to any one of my other friends and I tell them about these guys, they're all amazed that we're still a group after all these years. It's one of the phenomenal things of the friendship extending beyond track and field.
And I know I saw you at Panorama in Tobago. So.
I was working. My final question, if we had a race, who would win now, today? You have call a race now, a 400 meter or 60. But on the 60?
They probably tie.
You're so honest.
Very diplomatic, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be running. I was in Tobago, as you saw. And I've been working out in Tobago. In the hills, I've been working in the hills by the bird sanctuary, going up there and I'm working on the beach. So I'm planning to run at the Penn Relays, the Masters, 70 to 75. So I'm looking for a 12.3 or better if I could. But right now, running up all those hills in Tobago, my knee is kind of giving me a little trouble now. So when I get back home, I have to enter, which the deadline is the 5th of April. So I think I'll do well.
So would you be taking these goodly gentlemen with you?
Oh, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
He didn't say
competitive.
12 what? I said 12.3. He said 12.3. But it could be 12.3 hours, 12.3 days. Because it's not going to...
But we'll be there to give him support. That's
support, yes. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's not since 1964 you had it done.
This is from the Olympic
I'll
Museum.
be back again for Panorama. I'm coming back on the 13th of January.
Could you face this way now, please?
The 9th.
Away from the table. Good.
You was always a dresser since then,
Sharp man.
Yeah, kind of figure so.
Sharp man.
I tried to bring this boy along, but very slow in responding.
Which one?
There's hope.
There's hope.
You missed that one.
What's that?
Yeah, we won't repeat it.
Let me just say you put in a good roof.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, a little bit of dapper one.
Yeah, well,
you buy your shirt and you ain't tell me, and we was in London. I gotta get the 64, 68, and 72 shirt. They had 64, 68. They have all the Olympics, and they were selling the shirt.
Yeah, this is from the Olympic Museum.
So it's not really an old shirt.
No,